And we welcome you live to Don Snyder Stadium on the campus of Farmingdale High School, where tonight the Varsity Media Sports Network brings you Nassau Conference 1 football, featuring the host Dalers of Farmingdale and the visitors, the Red Devils of Freeport. Hello everyone, I'm Dylan Butler, joined by Mike Spina, and should be certainly an entertaining, exciting game. Two of the top teams, certainly in Nassau County. Of course, you look at Freeport, Mike, and you know, you go from coach to coach, team to team. They all say they're the cream of the crop. They're undefeated right now, certainly, and for a good reason.
Yeah, they're a good reason. They're the number one team in New York State for a reason. They're well coached. They're well schooled. They're big. They're fast. They don't make a lot of mistakes. It's you have to play your best game, and they have to play their B game to beat them.
Freeport 5-0, 17-game winning streak. They went undefeated a year ago, winning the Long Island Championship. Won 22 of their last 23. Coming off a Week 5 win, big win, 54-13 over Baldwin. The Dalers of Farmingdale were undefeated going into last week's rivalry game against Massapequa. They fell. They're 4-1. They are a resilient, tough team, especially playing them here. You know it well as a member of the Massapequa coaching staff. You were fortunate to get a win here, but had to come from behind to do so. Dalers are going to give the Freeport probably everything they can handle.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to go right at them. I think they're going to challenge them. Farmingdale comes from a really strong tradition. You know, I mean, all of Buddy Krumenacker's teams, they're built for toughness. And, you know, yeah, it was a great win for us last week and a tough loss for them, but, you know, they're going to come out strong today. They're well prepared. They had a good week of practice, and they're ready to go. That
loss might have been the last thing that Ross Sellon wanted to hear, certainly, because it's hard to beat Farmingdale in back-to-back weeks, certainly doing so here on their campus.
Well, it's, you know, again, you would have had two 5-0 teams. Now you have a 4-1 team that's looking for, you know, a little bit of revenge right now, and, you know, it's going to be an interesting start. I mean, right now, if you look at Farmingdale, they need to get off to a good start. Everybody who's played Freeport so far this year, and even last year to an extent, you know, Freeport jumps on them real quick, and then you're playing from behind, and this is not a team you want to play from behind.
And certainly, too, when you think about the possibilities of a Farmingdale win, what that would do to Nassau Conference 1, it would just be so wide open because you've got Massapequa, Freeport, Farmingdale, Oceanside, all right there in that mix for the number one seed.
Yeah, and you can't count out Uniondale as well. You know, Uniondale has athletes. Yeah, they got, you know, the kid that transferred over from Hempstead, Walker, and, you know, they're a good football team too. And on any given day in Conference 1, and that's the one thing that I've learned over the last 3 years, if you don't come to play, you can get knocked off by anybody.
All right, so just about set to go. You can see at the top of your screen the Red Devils wearing their traditional whites with the red pants, and same traditional uniform for the Dalers, their green tops, the white bottoms, and Freeport will kick off. So Farmingdale will have the opportunity. You mentioned about making that good start to the game. They'll have the ball first thing, and that's important, especially considering how dangerous that Freeport offense is.
Well, Freeport can score on any given play. They're a quick strike offense. They can grind it out, but they want to score quick. Farmingdale right now is going to have to control the clock, play ball control, and it starts right now. You know, getting the ball on the kickoff, they want to get a good return, get some good field position, and be able to run their whole offense.
Just about set now for the kickoff. Arnold Cruz giving way for Grayson. It's a short kick, fielded about the 10-yard line by Wilson. Gets a little bit of a seam, and he gets pulled down just about the 20-yard line. We'll take a look now at the Farmingdale offense, and of course it's led by their quarterback, Nick Lundeen, a 2-year starter. There you see the receivers, Smichael, McCarthy, and Shachio and Ramos. Wilson, of course, the big running threat for them. You see the big guys up front as well.
They have some good size up front, and it's going to be real interesting. Do they come out throwing? Do they come out running? Again, I told you they really want to go with some ball control offense right now, so I do expect Wilson to carry the ball a lot more today than he did against us last week. He had 17 carries last week. Looks like they're going with right away a little wildcat with Wilson at tailback.
And Wilson goes ahead for about 6 yards. We'll take a quick look at the Freeport defense, and what a bunch of athletes the Red Devils, really on both sides of the ball, but certainly defensively as well. It starts up front. You see the guys there, Stevenson, Norris, Howard, Saab, linebackers, a very tough group led by Mekhi Jinks in the middle. And, of course, their defensive backs. Hard to throw in these guys, Edmond, Allen especially.
They got speed. They got strength. They got everything. They're a college team.
2nd and 4. There's another handoff, cutting inside and getting just shy, it looks like, of the first down marker. Ramos with the run.
Yes, little jet sweep right there. And, again, they're running a little wildcat right now with Wilson at quarterback. So that's a change. But as we say that, Nick Lundin comes back into the game right now on 3rd and 1.
Really important just for the psyche, I think, for the Dalers, just to move the chains on this first possession.
Sure, it's important. After last week's loss, you want to get something positive going right away.
3rd and 1, man in motion. Again, fake handoff. Running forward is Wilson. Does he get enough?
Looks like he has enough.
They'll stop the clock, and they will point for a first down. So an important moving of the chains for the Dalers offense.
Nice strategy right now by Coach Krumanacher coming out in Wildcat, and right away they're establishing Wilson.
And Wilson is so dangerous. Certainly there's a few candidates, and you could probably see certainly one on the other side of the ball in Terrence Edmond, but you've got to say Wilson, a Thorpe candidate this year. And again, man in motion is Ramos. And it is once again the Wildcat going forward past the 40-yard line is Wilson.
They're doing a nice job. And I told you, Farmingdale is strong. They're tough kids. The tradition. All they're running is power football right now. They're faking a jet sweep. They're running right behind their sniffer. And they're just running power football right now. Great job by them in this opening drive. Getting something positive out of last week. And right now, if you're Farmingdale, you got to feel good about yourself.
Yeah, a little banged up the Dalers are, especially up front. So it's important certainly to get some protection from the guys up front. And the same thing again, Ramos in motion. Wilson takes the handoff, bursts forward for another first down.
And what I love about what Coach is doing right now and the Farmingdale Dalers are doing is they found something that works. And they're not showing their whole playbook. They're going back and forth to power football. If you look at the sniffer, they just kick out the defensive end right there, a great block inside, and all he's doing is following his power back.
Another first down, this one at the 48-yard line.
Same formation.
And clearly, as you said, Krumanacher saying, you haven't beaten us yet, I'm going to keep going, as another cut inside. This one not for much.
Great adjustment by the Freeport defense on that. They slanted to the power back on that. They're running to the left side 5 plays in a row right now. So they're making the adjustment right now. So this is a game of adjustments right away on the first drive of the game. Now let's see what Farmingdale does. It looks like Freeport has it figured out. Now let's see what the adjustment is.
And it looks like Lundin is back in at quarterback, as Wilson was stuffed for no gain. 2nd and 10. So Lundin has Chaccio to his right hip.
You see real tight splits here, so it's either going to be a pass or you're going to try to get outside on this.
Looks like Lundin might have changed the call at the line. Gets the handoff. Looks to take it himself, and again, he is going nowhere.
I'm trying to see who's coming off.
It's like Shamel Howard, number 63, had the big tackle on that play.
Yes, and if you look at the way the linebackers flow on that, look at how Mekhi Jinks comes in and cleans that up. Their linebackers are good. They read their keys very well. They fly to the football. Yeah, listen, they are a well-disciplined team.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you mentioned, Jinks, we were so impressed when we saw that. We had that game for you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, that game against Oceanside, and Jinks somehow had this unbelievable interception where the ball was thrown about 100 miles an hour, still makes a catch. 3rd and 10, Lundin in the air. It's deflected, looking for Wilson, and it is incomplete.
Yes, broken up by Christian Quinn on that, just running 2 slants from the slot position. Great defensive play, and now here we go. We got to punt the ball. Still a good positive drive. They took some time off the clock. They got a couple of first downs, got a little momentum right now. So hopefully you can play a little field position, get a good punt, kick the ball deep.
Christian Quinn, an interesting pickup for the Red Devils. Played up in Massachusetts a year ago. There's the punt, end over end, fielded at about the 20-yard line. Nice return as well, back out to midfield. And the Red Devils, led by Javian Allen on that return, will have a nice return.
Well, the key play on that was the block by Asani Allen. He absolutely pancaked someone on the sideline to open that up. Now, again, we're playing field position. Instead of backing them up at the 20, Freeport starting at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, they're a tough team regardless. It's even tougher when you give them half a field to work with.
And right away, you see they come out and they spread them out right away.
We'll show you after this play their starters, and really so many playmakers led by number 4 right there at quarterback, Terrence Edmond. Edmond has Allen in motion. Hands off to Allen, runs inside, and he gets inside the Dalers' territory to about the 46-yard line. Here is the Freeport starting lineup, and pick your poison, certainly, with these guys. Edmond at QB, you've got Stevenson, Allen, Cruz as well. Jinx, we saw what he's going to do in the linebacking spot. Great running back as well. A very tough offensive line as well. Norris, Grubbs, Jackson as well up front.
They got the size of a college line, 235, 290, 235, 275.
And there's Edmond. Cuts inside, goes back out. He is halted, but a late flag. A lot of times when we see these late flags, it's a face mask.
Coming from the back, Judge.
Green flag tonight for breast cancer awareness.
As we await the call, we'll give you a quick look at the Farmingdale defense as well, and they did have to make some adjustments, as we mentioned, some injuries up front. See Levantini, one of their leading guys, Chachu as well. Wilson plays both ways, Lembo as well, and Mineta had that big play against Oceanside to seal that win on the road.
So the flag was on Freeport.
Yes, we'll see. This will back the Red Devils up. Waiting for the officials to kind of march it off. They will now. And they go all the way back to the...
They're going back 15, so
yeah,
that's some
personal
kind
foul.
of personal foul. Could be a hands to the face.
Ball will be moved back to the 38-yard line.
Well, either way, you're now talking about a second down and 20 for Freeport. So this is a good down right now if you're Farmingdale.
So Edmond has Allen to his right hip. See everyone checking their wrist for the play. Rolls right. Gets a completion. Finds Allen, and he is taken down just outside of the 45-yard line.
Yes, good defensive play by Justin Steinheimer. Really good job getting to the flat. They got about 6 yards on the play, so it's a manageable 3rd down and 15 right now. But 3rd down and 15 for most teams would be a hard down to pick up, but not for Freeport.
Yeah. Yeah, they can go a big play pretty much any of those skilled guys on any play they run.
Look for somebody running to the post on this. Could be from the solo side down here.
Yeah, that's where Ara Valaga is. Edmond. Levantini chases him. He's got a turn. Chaccio as well. Edmond throws it up wildly towards midfield, and it's just incomplete. After all that, he indeed did go this way, Mike, but incomplete pass intended for Ara Valaga.
Wow, he went left, right, left, threw the ball about 55 yards in the air, and it was just about, look at this play right here. He just missed catching that at the 40-yard line, which would have been a first down.
Yeah, and Jinx came in as well looking for that.
Yeah, that could have been easily a 20-yard sack, but his athleticism kept it a sack, kept it at a fourth down and manageable. So now they're going to punt from the 44 instead of from the 22.
So impressed with Neil Levantini, just terrific motor the big man has. There's the punt. It's picked up at about the 23-yard line, not much forward motion as the Red Devils came in to make the tackle.
Yes, Javion Allen did a real nice job boxing him in on that. So, again, good field position right now for Farmingdale. Great start for them. Good offensive possession. First series, get 2 first downs, hold them on not a 3, well, I'll call it a 3 and out, but with the penalty that helped them, and they get the ball back. So, game plan right now for Farmingdale is working.
All right, so the Dalers will start their second drive at their own 29-yard line. We'll see what kind of look they have here, and Lundeen is again not. Well, actually, now he's split wide.
Yes, they were doing that before in the Wildcat. Coming back to the same jet motion. This time they're running counter the other way.
So again, it is Wilson. He will get a lot of touches, certainly, and he's getting them out of the Wildcat. And a different look week to week, certainly, as you mentioned, Mike, same look in that first possession they had.
Sure, and this is not something we saw last week when we played these guys. Now Lundeen's back.
Yeah, so keeping the Freeport defense as they show blitz. Fumble. Freeport players pointing like they have it, and they do.
Freeport recovery.
Harry take again the look.
Looks like Miles Norris with the fumble recovery. You see an outside blitz. Yes, it is. Miles Norris with a great job getting on the ball, being aware that the ball was on the ground.
So big break here for Freeport. They often say, and Mike, I'd imagine it was the same when you guys prep to play Freeport. You can't beat yourselves. You've got to not give them free opportunities, and this is one the Red Devils have.
Yes, and don't be surprised if they go in the air or Mr. Edmonds does something right away, first play. You got to play mistake-free football. You got to control the ball. You got to sit there and protect the ball. It's all, we call it ball security at Massapequa.
1st and 10 from the Dalers 30. Handoff, cutting inside and getting the first down and a little bit more as well. Nice cut inside the 10-yard line goes Javion Allen.
And there you go, right away. First play, they run a stretch play, and they get great blocks on the outside. We call it bounce. They seal the end. 2 great blocks right there. 1 jump cut, and all of a sudden they're in business down at the 8-yard line.
1st and goal at the 8. Handoff again, cutting inside, just shy of the end zone was the other Allen, not related. That's Osani Allen.
Just like that. No huddle, fast pace. Got Farmingdale reeling a little bit.
2nd and goal. Allen powers forward, and he is just shy. 3rd and goal.
And that was Rob Mineta on the tackle on that. Great job shooting the gap. They have to sell out right now. This is where where do? You sell out in the middle, you sell out outside. Yeah, it's tough to play defense down here, but you're going to stack the box and force them to do something other than what they want.
3rd and goal.
Should be some type of power play right here.
Edmond to Allen, cuts inside, touchdown.
Number 2.
That's the problem when you make a mistake. You give Freeport 30 yards to the end zone. It's a lot easier to score from there, 30 yards, than it is 80 yards. And this is just power football. This is Allen following his guards. You see Josh Grubbs on the pull. He pulls, finds the linebacker, one-on-one block. Power football.
Here's Chase Gordon with the point after attempt. It is up, and it is good. Gordon now 29 of 31 on the season, and Freeport takes the 7-0 lead. We'll take a quick break, and we'll bring all the action to you right back. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Welcome back to Don Snyder Stadium. Nice, crisp, cool fall Friday evening. Freeport taking advantage of that Farmingdale mistake, the fumble. They go 4 plays, 30 yards for the touchdown, and they take that 7-0 lead just under 3 minutes left here in the first quarter.
Now, do you consider this a big drive, Dylan?
I don't know if you have to necessarily score, but I think you need to move the ball.
Right. And
you can't go 3 and out.
You can't go 3 and out. Again, they kick the ball deep, but look at the speed that they have covering that.
And Wilson, he can burn as well, but you can see on a night like tonight with all these Freeport athletes, it's so hard. You see him pick up the ball about the 4-yard line and not a lot of space to maneuver.
No, you got 7 to 8 white helmets on that tackle or right by the ball. I mean, that's how they play football. They usually, their motto, 11 hats to the ball on every play, whether it's a kickoff, punt return, punt, whatever it is. It's 11 hats to the football.
And what's scary, too, is, you can go into that Freeport bench as well, and you don't really lose much.
No, you don't.
From man-to-man.
No, you don't.
So an important drive, and looks like Lundeen now behind center, or certainly back in shotgun formation with Wilson on his left hip. Trips right. Wilson gets the run and not much doing.
Nah, that was just a zone right, and next thing you know, you see, once again, number 61, Miles Norris, leading a host of Freeport tacklers. This defensive line is legit. They are big, strong, fast. They just do a great job controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Norris, 6'1", 275. Started last year offensively at guard, moved him to tackle. Sellen calls him an absolute beast. Honorable mention, all-state, all-county. Oh, and by the way, second New York State in wrestling. Lundeen rolls right, incomplete pass, and now you're set up for a 3rd and long.
And you're talking about Miles Norris as a runner-up in the state for wrestling? He just chased Lundeen out of bounds on that and forced him to throw the ball early. So he's not just big and strong.
Yeah.
He's fast. He's running down a quarterback.
And that's the other thing that he says, too. And Sellen loves it. Great feet, real physical, powerful kid. And there, Freeport moves fast, a little bit too fast, I think, there.
Should be offsides.
Offsides on Freeport.
Which will give this 3rd down a little bit more, make it a little bit more manageable. Now you go from 3rd down and 13 to 3rd down and 8. Still not a great situation for Farmingdale right now.
They've got twin receivers on both sides. Lundeen, look out. They're coming at him again. Flushed out, and he's thrown down and sacked.
And that's number 63, Shamel Howard. He's only 6'1", 235. I mean, he's one of the small guys.
And I think Stevenson as well was coming in, and there was a few guys putting the pressure, but just hogtied and thrown down.
And this is the dangerous part. They double-team the gunners right now. You'll see 2 guys on both gunners. If this punt is... I don't want to call it a shank, but... Oh!
Fumbled. Freeport looks like they've got it back, but
Yeah, Javion Allen wants to return one for a touchdown, and they do. That ball had no business being caught. It was about 10 yards ahead of him. He tried to catch it on a bounce. As we know in football, it's not round, so it's not taking a regular bounce. Very fortunate to get the ball back. But again, Freeport's got the ball at the Farmingdale 42, 43-yard line right now. You can't give a team like this a short field. They're too good if you want to beat them.
So you asked me if that last possession was important. I thought it was, just to move the ball. Now I think you really need to stop on this possession, or else suddenly you're staring at a 14-0 deficit. Hard to gun with a Freeport team like this. Edmond runs left, has some blockers upfield, and is forced. No, he's still in bounds, but just shy of the 35-yard line.
Yeah, just a ball sweep right there, and Robinetta with a nice shoestring tackle on that, probably saving another 15 to 20 yards.
So he's downed at the 37-yard line. 2nd and 4. Edmond goes the same way. Hesitation, runs forward. That's what I like about Edmond too. And it's I think being that 4-year starter, 3-year at quarterback, you see that just kind of waited to see where the hole would go. And here you see it again, Mike.
Yeah, he's very patient. He waits to let his blockers develop. You see a great block right there by Javion Allen. He shows that patience. Listen, we know he runs a 4.445. But the patience on that, and again, here we go again. They're running up-tempo right now. That play again, patience. It's a zone where it starts to the right and goes back to the left.
That time it was Allen again, and you mentioned no huddle. They're just going to move quickly. They've got the Dalers scrambling a little bit. This time they go right up the middle, and that's a good tackle. Chachio, it looked like.
His name's been called on 3 out of the last 4 plays. You do have an injury right now, which could be very, very bad for Farmingdale.
All right, so we'll, on this injury, we'll take a quick break. Late here in the first quarter, Freeport leads Farmingdale 7-0. They're looking to get a little more. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Sean Petzold. That's who's right.
And welcome back to Don Snyder Stadium. Red Devils with a 7-0 lead. And, Mike, you look at their schedule so far, beating all comers, right? Port Washington in week 1. Your Chiefs of Massapequa week 2. Syosset in week 3, that big Oceanside game that we had for you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and Baldwin in week 5. This, you'd make the argument, again, no disrespect certainly to Hempstead and Uniondale, you'd make the argument this is their stiffest test until they get into the postseason.
I want to agree with that. You don't ever want to put anybody down or disrespect another high school team. They are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, but they handled us, they handled Oceanside, and right now they're up on Farmingdale. So they've already went through the 2, the 4, the 6 seed.
Yeah.
And right now they seem to be in control right now against Farmingdale, who's 3. So do I want to say that their next test is going to come in the playoffs? I'd like to hope that somebody beats them up a little bit. I would love to say that. They're just a great team. I mean, everybody's looking to take their shot at them. And right now, Farmingdale has their chance. And then after Farmingdale, will be someone else.
When we talk about Freeport, a lot of the conversation is about so many players back. And that's what Russ Ellen said, too. He said, look, we know we're a good team. We've got athletes. We've got returning athletes. Expectations are high. But he said, look, who knows, really. Conference 1 is so tough. You've got to stay healthy. A few things have to go your way. But he says, we don't change at Freeport, and we've seen it for how many years now with Russ Ellen as the head coach. Some of these names, some of these numbers are different year to year, but the mentality and the athletes and the schemes are the same.
It's the same. They don't rebuild. They reload. That's what they do. They just keep reloading. They have players down in the wings. Look at this. Just a straight gut, right up the middle. Javion Allen walks into the end zone. And give Freeport and give their coaching staff a lot of credit. You just saw on the last play, Farmingdale lost Sean Petzold. All right, Sean Petzold is 6 foot 300 pounds. He's a very good football player, but he basically plays their nose or their tackle. Well, what did they do? They just ran a gut right where he was supposed to be and pretty much untouched.
And Allen, the junior returning all-state player as well. He's a wide receiver. He's a running back. He's just an athlete. Started as well as a freshman. He'll be another one of these, and it's not many, you'd say, as the extra point is up and good. Like, not many 4-year starters for Freeport. He will likely certainly be the next one. Edmund, their quarterback, is one as well. Edmund didn't play quarterback his freshman year, though, as we take a good look at Russ Ellen, was an athlete as well, moved into quarterback his sophomore year, and he's there now for 3 years.
Well, you don't see many 4-year football players on any statewide team. Football's a little bit it's a different sport. It's a physical sport. You got to be strong or you got to be super, super fast and athletic. You see 3-year starters, but very rarely do you see 4. And Javion Allen will be one of their 4-year starters next year.
His second touchdown already matches. He has 5 to combined, 3 rushing this year. Now it's 5. He has 2 receiving. Comes into this game 13 carries, 149 yards, 7 receptions for 105 yards.
And if he was on some other team, he would probably have 1,000 yards rushing, 300 or 400 yards receiving.
Yeah, Mike, you make a great point too, because the way that Freeport has won these games, these guys are playing maybe 3 quarters.
If that.
Or a half.
If that. A half in some cases.
So as you mentioned, maybe you put him on another team. He's playing 4 quarters. He's getting 30 touches in a game, and those numbers would certainly be a lot.
They're balanced.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not Allen, it's Edmund. If it's not Edmund or Allen, it's Jinx, or it's the other Allen. They have so many different weapons.
Grayson kicks the ball off, to the 15-yard line, and the Dalers will look to take over. Wilson again with the return to about the 35-yard line.
Sure, that time they moved their back line up a little bit because the ball's been only traveling to about the 15-yard line on all 3 kicks so far. Now we're getting into a crucial time.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit more crucial. You're almost getting to the point where first downs is not going to be enough. You're going to need to score soon. Because, again, you're not coming back from 3 scores down against this type of team. It's just not happening.
And you mentioned Petzold, another of their big men. They've suffered some key injuries up front, and not that you don't want injuries anywhere, certainly, but up front it feels like it hurts you even more.
Yes, when you're thin on the line, and Farmingdale is not – they're not your big traditional Farmingdale team that they've had in the past. I mean, Wilson would be one of their bigger linemen.
There's Wilson again getting forward. Gets about 8 yards. Nice run by number 34.
And they went right back to power football on that. Keeping it simple, running straight ahead. You're not going sideline to sideline against Freeport's defense. You got to go straight. You got to go north and south. If you go east and west, they're going to run you down.
And I should give him 9, so it's a 2nd and 1. Wilson's special athlete.
Yes, he is.
3-year starter as well. You mentioned guys who are 3-year starters. There he goes again, pushing forward. Will he get the forward motion? He's pushed back.
It looks like he should have enough. And let me just tell you about Wilson. Last week was a real emotional game. 2 teams going at it, big rivalry, couple thousand people here, great atmosphere. When the game was over, he was one of the first guys making sure that he was hugging everybody, saying good luck, congratulations. No bad blood at all. Class act the whole way.
Yeah, he is that. He's certainly a leader of this Steelers team. Quiet, humble kid.
That's what you like to see, especially in high school sports.
And you can make the argument he's just as dangerous or effective as he runs the ball again, gets to the outside, and he's pushed out just shy of the 50. He's just as tough on the defensive side of the football and in the linebacker spot as he is running the football.
Absolutely. He just plays the whole game. He just plays hard. He plays all out. Listen, when you're playing a team like this, even like last week's game was very emotional, you start to get tired. There's not a lot of depth right now on Farmingdale's team. I mean, listen, I'm used to seeing Farmingdale with 50, 60 guys on the sideline. You don't see that this year. You do see the numbers dropping in Nassau County on some schools.
So give him 4, 2nd and 6 from the 48-yard line. It's Wilson again. They are riding their horse. Looks like no gain on this run, though.
Looked like Arnold Cruz on the tackle, who's making the initial tackle right there. And again, you see 4 or 5 helmets to the football. And right now, Farmingdale is. They're leaning on their big gun right now. And Freeport knows it. And you're going to start to see more and more guys getting a helmet or shoulder pads, let me say, on Wilson. And it's going to get harder for him.
You mentioned Cruz. Oh, by the way, another returning All-State player for Freeport. Lundeen, back to pass. Incomplete. Looked like double coverage there. Certainly Edmond came in late.
Yep, and once again, the coverage was on Christian Quinn, and he's up in man coverage. He's pressing. He's forcing this throw to go high. You see an inside-out coverage or an over-the-top coverage. Again, Farmingdale doesn't really want to throw the ball too many times because it stops the clock on every incomplete pass. So here we go again.
McCarthy is a big target, 6'5", and they will punt here. And a good punt. Fielded well, though, at the 15-yard line. Looked like it had an opportunity to bounce further back, and looked like it was Allen again picking it up.
Yeah, made a great one-handed stab. The Yankees could have used that defense last night.
With that, we'll take a quick – actually, no, we'll keep it right here as Freeport already – they're raring to go offensively, Mike.
They're right. There's no such thing as a huddle right now. They got the ball at the 34-yard line. They're running what we call an Amtrak offense. They're just going at it. It's NASCAR. It's let's go 100 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, if it's Amtrak, it's certainly the Acela, right? Because they are motoring.
They don't need gasoline. Give them a Tesla. They recharge on the sideline.
Edmonds got options. They can throw the ball. Russ Ellen is quick to say, but they don't have to, as Edmond gets out to the 44-yard line.
Yep, just that power, that ball sweep, lead blocker. You know what's really, you just said they can pass the ball. You're right, they can. They don't have to.
Yeah.
And their receivers will make blocks. They're committed to making blocks. But the impressive player on that is Miles Norris, the right tackle. He can seal almost every single defensive end that he sees.
Yeah, we've talked about him on both sides of the football, and inside handoff, nowhere to go there. It's like Petzold.
Well, they tried to run a counter right there, and nice to see that young man back in the game. He when he came off the field, I wasn't sure if he was going back in. Got some treatment by the trainer. Great to see him back in the game.
Yeah, it ends up being a loss on that. Loss of about 2. And Petzold, the junior, came in with 16 tackles, 2 for losses, so give him 3 now for losses. So a little bit of time last year, had a couple of starts, and this year he's going both ways, starting, and we will now have that timeout. It'll be a timeout for Freeport, and we'll take it as well. 8:08 to go here, second quarter. Freeport leads Farmingdale 14-0. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And we're back here at Don Snyder Stadium in Farmingdale, Long Island. And Dylan Butler, Mike Spina. 8:08 to go here in the second quarter. Freeport leads the Dalers 14-0.
Interesting time out there by Freeport, and Coach Sellen just didn't like something that he saw. I mean, what happened? They lost a yard? He didn't like it. So they called timeout. I'll be curious to see what they dial up right now on 2nd and 11. They've pretty much, except for the first drive, have had their own way, moving the ball up and down the field. They play much better when they're going fast. It looks a little lethargic on this drive, so I'm wondering if that's why the timeout was called.
We'll see what results of the rare timeout. Fumble. Just a bad snap, it looks like. Edmond fell on it, loses a few more.
Very uncharacteristic for a Freeport team to look sloppy like that. They came out of formation. It looked like it was going to be some kind of a bubble pass out to the right. Just a bad snap. It happens.
Well, that's a loss of another 7, it looks like. So 3rd and 18 for the Red Devils.
It's a big down for Farmingdale. You want to get your defense off the field right now. Again, you want something positive to happen right now. Here's a big play.
And as such, the Dalers crowd getting into it. Edmond under pressure, gets out, and just has forced out of bounds. Great job by the Dalers.
The best part about that was supposed to be a bubble screen, or what we call a cigar or a tunnel screen. And what a great job by Farmingdale recognizing what they were trying to do. That if you watch right now, this is a little bit too late, but
and there's Mineta coming in.
There's Mineta again coming in. The biggest play on that, though, really was number 78. All right, Sean Green. He actually went from his tackle spot, read the bubble, read the screen, and released to the sideline.
With those injuries we mentioned, Green getting a chance to start. And a short punt goes right out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. So big opportunity here for the Dalers. They'll have just about half field, and 14-0 isn't unmanageable, certainly, but of course now if you get a touchdown, you're right back in the game. That's what I think the Dalers do maybe better than most. We were out at Oceanside earlier in the year, of course, and Oceanside had that big lead early on. The Dalers just came back. They kept knocking. They kept getting opportunities. And as we saw in that wild game, they turned it around late and pretty much owned the second half to beat the Sailors in Oceanside.
Yeah, they don't quit. I mean, this is Farmingdale. The tradition is way too strong for them to quit.
Big down here. They go to their big runner. Wilson powers forward to about the 49-yard line.
Again, on the tackle was Arnold Cruz, number 7. Coming from his middle linebacker spot, just read the down block, filled the gap, made a great tackle. Could have been a 5, 6, 7-yard gain. He held it to 2.
As you mentioned, Cruz, returning All-State player. Sellen says he lived in the weight room in the off-season. He's that rover at outside linebacker. He's just so critical to their defense.
Yeah, he lines up on that tight end, and he's fast, he's strong. And here you see him jumping around a little bit.
Lundeen looks, has protection, but now he's in trouble, and he is sacked again.
You can't outrun it. That was Dan Murphy, their left tackle, coming off a block, outrunning the quarterback, Lundeen.
Murphy, one of the guys who's made probably some of the biggest strides this year from year to year for the Red Devils. There you see he gets the sack, came into this game with 14 tackles, 5 for losses, make it 6 now for the 6'3", 215-pound senior.
And I stand corrected. He's the left end. And he made that play all the way on the right side. Relentless. That's what you want out of a football player.
Lundeen back to pass, airs it out for McCarthy. Incomplete. Good coverage by Christian Quinn.
He is definitely having a great game at corner right now. I don't care if that's a mismatch in size. His athleticism right there. He presses. He gets right in his face.
And in fact, Quinn was in better position to catch that football because, as you mentioned, of the way that he was playing McCarthy than McCarthy was. Quinn came into this game with 9 pass breakups, make it 10.
Well, 10, and he's also probably made 3 other plays today.
Well, Farmingdale will give their possession or the opportunity to start with a short field right back to Freeport. They will down this football at the 40-yard line. They'll start their next possession right there. We're watching Nassau Conference 1 football. You've got it right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Now welcome back to Farmingdale. Freeport with the ball at the 40-yard line, and it seems like we've talked about big possessions, and we've mentioned a few of these big drives. This one a big one for both teams, certainly. Freeport, if they could score in this, they take a big 3-score lead. If the Dalers can get another stop and maybe get good field position, they can maybe get themselves in the end zone. Edmond runs to his left, cuts inside, and this one will come back. There will be a hold. Looked like Levantini might have been pulled down by big Miles Norris.
Yes, they were running boss sweep, running to the short side, and they're going to get a hold on that. So that's a big play right there. Farmingdale's not going away. They're not sitting there dropping their heads. They know they're down 14-0 against the number 1 team in the state, but they're still playing hard. They're still playing with emotion. That's Farmingdale football.
And Levantini is one of those guys who brings it certainly on every play on both sides of the football.
So it's definitely going to be a hold.
Levantini, a co-captain, dynamic, great motor.
Now, you were talking before, Dylan, about the weight room. I coach the girls' varsity basketball program at Floral Park, and we play in the Freeport Summer League. And I see them out there twice a week, lifting, running, doing all these different type of exercises. Coach Jones does a great job. Coach Chetty does a great job with their weight program during the summer.
Up the middle, getting out to about the 40-yard line was Mekhi Jinks. How about that, too? Jinks is a guy who the last 2 years was an offensive tackle. He was a running back his whole life, but out of necessity had to play tackle, and now he's back to running the football. How'd you like to have 6'1", 225 coming at you like that?
I would love it. But you know what we call that? Unselfishness. Here's a guy who's played running back all his life, and coach says, hey, I need you on the line. And what does he do? No problem. I'll do whatever it takes. And now where is he back? At running back.
Yeah.
So he got rewarded for being an unselfish player. It's all about the team.
2nd and 11. Edmond, nowhere to go. Good job defensively trying to... Nick Franco with the tackle. Franco, a senior, came in to this game with 32 combined tackles, 3 for losses. Talk about wrestlers, ranked number 2 in Nassau County at 195.
You see that on both teams. You have a lot of guys, and I talked about this the last time I was doing the color, was the amount of multi-sport athletes that are playing football this fall. You know, when I did the Cold Spring Harbor game, they were all Division I, II lacrosse players playing football. I hate the specialization. Let these kids play multiple sports.
3rd and long. Edmond will go long over the middle, incomplete. Allen, his intended target.
Great coverage by Will McCarthy, that free safety. They did a good job taking away the post route on that, forcing them to throw the ball. And again, big possession. You know, they had a short field. Now, it wasn't 40 yards going in, but you still don't want to give Freeport the ball at their own 40-yard line. Now having them only go 60 yards instead of 80. But that's a big possession for Farmingdale.
Mike, you talk about the multi-sport athletes, and Russ Sellen certainly says it. High snap, just gets off the punt and hits. Did it hit Allen? Looked like it might have hit him.
It definitely hit him. But it looks like neither one of the officials saw it. So it looks like they're going to get the ball at the 34, where it probably should have been the 38.
But you talk about multi-sport athletes. Sellen certainly says it, and you see it with Farmingdale. You see it with Massapequa as well. It's important to have those wrestlers, especially those guys up front. They're used to those one-on-one battles in the trenches, and a lot of the better wrestlers, certainly in Nassau County, are a big part of some of the better football teams.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at Plain Edge, Massapequa, Farmingdale, Freeport. I mean, I coach basketball, so I really can't tell you firsthand, you know, what it's like, but it's my defensive line right now. I got a lot of them that wrestle, and the movements are the same. The balance is the same. The strength is the same. You know, it's all about their center of gravity. Where are they coming from? It's their base, their hips down. You know, it's their butt, it's their legs.
1st and 10 for the Dalers from the 33. Handoff to Wilson, and he is eaten up on the outside. Looked like he tried to cut inside, wasn't there, bounced it outside, and lost about 2 yards.
It was actually Lorenzo Ramos on a jet sweep on that. And, again, you're not going east and west.
Look at a pursuit to the football.
Yeah, you got to go straight at him. I know it's tough to do. But, see, now here, that's the second time that they've jumped. That's how you keep a team like Freeport off balance. Change your snap counts. Go on sound, go on 1, go on 2. You got to mix it up. And so far they've gone twice on 2, and they've jumped. So you see right now Freeport, they're pinning their ears back, and they're just coming.
Like Shamel Howard there, the defensive tackle who jumped, number 63.
So that negates a loss of 2. Now, I'm shocked that they haven't come back to that Wildcat because they had success with it. Blitz.
Look out. Lundeen does get it off well. Cuts inside for a first down and more.
That's a great pass because Mekhi Jinks was on a blitz, untouched to Landine. And look at how fast he got it off. And he took a shot.
How about Smichael, too, making that great cut inside to get out towards midfield.
Yeah, that's a great play. And again, you talk about positive things. You talk about changing the momentum of the game. Just take each play and hope that you get a positive play. I mean, you only have 2:28 left in this half. If you can somehow score here and go into halftime down 1, you know, that you go into halftime feeling real good about yourself.
Schmeichel, the third to play for Buddy Krummenacher. Get to that in a second. Lundin has some time, but again, you've got to make almost an unbelievable catch. That looked like it was Levantini.
Win.
Dove and just fell out.
Yes, you're right. Levantini. That's a diving attempt. And that's a diving attempt from a 5'11", 240.
Yeah.
He's 240 pounds, and he moved like he was about 180 pounds on that.
Schmeichel's brother, Antonio, of course, just saw him playing for the Dale, and Antonio Sr., the dad, also played for Buddy Krummenacher.
And the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. Fake handoff to Wilson. Again, the pressure comes. Lundin gets it out, and incomplete. Looking for Chachio, as looks like Norris again in pursuit.
Norris and Murphy, once again, putting on the pressure. Again, I don't know if you really want to be throwing the ball every down right now. I understand the philosophy is you're trying to score and you want to get points on the board right now, but now you're looking at 3rd and 10. Now, if you throw the ball incomplete here, you're giving the ball back to Freeport.
Yeah,
with a chance to score, and Freeport gets the ball to start the second half.
You want to be in a position to throw the ball if you want it, not when you have to throw it. It is complete there, although some negative yards, pushing forward, trying to get past the 50, but nothing doing there. Edmond, that's the quarterback, bringing the tackle to Wilson.
And the initial contact was made by who? Mr. Jenks. And here you see it. They're not going deep, just a little screen. It's actually a check down route. Jinx with the initial contact and Edmond cleaning it up. Now, this is interesting. They kept the offense on the field. They're not going for it. They're making Freeport call a timeout. Freeport's not calling a timeout right now, which I find very interesting. So what's going to happen is Coach Krummenacher is going to say, 1 second to go, we'll call timeout, and you watch. The punt team's going to go on.
Yeah, and you can see right where the officials are. And there's
your timeout.
So we'll take this opportunity to take a timeout as well. Just over a minute left here, second quarter. Freeport leads Farmingdale 14-0. You're watching the Varsity Media Game of the Week from Don Snyder Stadium. And welcome back to Farmingdale. A nice, crisp, cool evening. I say that, of course, being inside a nice, warm press box. Dylan Butler, Mike Spina. A little better to be in the press box, Mike, I think, than on top of the press box, right? Calling out plays.
Oh, this is nice. Actually, tomorrow's supposed to be a beautiful day. We have homecoming, so I'm excited to be on the sideline. But, wow, this is a beautiful facility right now. Beautiful. We've got the heaters on behind us.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Massapequa, Farmingdale, Plain Edge, this whole area, just incredible improvements in facilities as the ball's fielded. And look at that, burst up the field, a 23-yard return by Javian Allen.
He's just got so much speed. I told you before, on the first punt, he was looking to catch that ball on a fly, and he picked it up on a short hop. But he got that one, and they double-teamed the Gunners again. It's a great tackle.
And we'll take a quick break as there is an injured Daler on the field. We'll see if Freeport will find a way to score here in their last drive of the second half. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Hey, welcome back to Don Snyder Stadium. Dylan Butler, Mike Spina, late second quarter. The Red Devils looking to extend their lead, and they will get the football coming out as well. So it's one of those situations where it could be one of those like 14-point turns in a game, and certainly an additional 14 to this. Not a math major, but that would make it 28, which would make it pretty tough sledding for the Dalers. So big stop here for Farmingdale possibly.
It would be. They go right back to that zone play. And I'm kind of, they gained 4-5. It doesn't look like Freeport's in a rush right now.
Number 2, Javian Allen.
That was Javian Allen again. One of the things, we're seeing the great athleticism by Allen, but one thing that Russ Allen says too, and you can see it sometimes in his movements, he says he's got one of the best football minds on this team. Just the way that he sniffs things out, he knows exactly where he has to be. He can hurt you, he says, in a lot of different ways.
Oh, he can hurt you with his legs. He can hurt you with his arms. It looks like Freeport's going to be satisfied with going into halftime up 14. I mean, they have great field position. They're at the 49-yard line. So, yeah, am I a little bit shocked on this? I am. But when you know that you're as good as you are, like Coach Allen knows that his team is, and their defense is dominating the way they are, you're confident.
They are confident. We are at halftime. The Red Devils, the top-ranked team in New York State, with a 14-0 lead over the home Dalers of Farmingdale. We'll be back after a break. We'll break down the first half. Look forward to the second half. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Fresh after not carrying the ball a couple of times, and he streaks down the field, 2 defenders to beat. Breaks an ankle tackle, he's still going. You Kelleher all the way for 6.
Yeah. Set me free and give me death, there ain't no other choices. When I lay down to go to sleep, I keep on hearing voices. Little whispers in my head, man, is you fake or loyal? Why no water, that designer, baby, pick your poison. These little demons living underneath my bed, creeping. Know the real monster lives above them all, sleeping. That subtle breathing in your closet every single evening. Thought you never see me again, looks can be deceiving. When they hear the sound of the drum, they'll be saying, oh Lord, here they come. Yeah, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. And when you hear the sound of the drum, we'll be saying, here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come.
Up and away. I give up out your wave, drowning my soul in the basement. Look, I ain't got much in the bank, I got a lot I can say. Got up with goddesses, hey. I hope you forgive my mistakes.
Yeah, run around with the renegades. You should take a seat, save your energy. I try to heal the guys with a band-aid. In a time of need, you call your enemies. I landed in Ibiza and I need a visa. I ain't playing with you, this no mama me. I need a hottie toddy with a body, yeah. I just spit the knowledge, then I'm out of here.
That's what they are when we come around. Yeah. This is your time when we want it now. How big is your army? $100. If you want the rain, then we coming down. I stumble the cool, I'm awesome. Kick flipping the Carsons, we should run for the pool. I got the 5 flow, the department exhausted. I own nothing in you. I'm in the Tahoe, man, you making me nauseous. Pulling up with the crew, you such a hype beast, man, you making me vomit. Look, watch me, watch me, watch me do this. It's always been more than the music. You riding waves on the back of my cruise ship. Look, watch me, watch me, watch me do this. Since 2012 I've been
Interested in sponsoring a live stream broadcast? Varsity Media Streams offer tremendous visibility for your business. Contact us today at 866-577-1950 for rates and packages. Interested in sponsoring a live stream broadcast? Varsity Media Streams offer tremendous visibility for your business. Contact us today at 866-577-1950 for rates and packages. Interested in sponsoring a live stream broadcast? Varsity Media Streams offer tremendous visibility for your business. Contact us today at 866-577-1950 for rates and packages. Interested in sponsoring a live stream broadcast? Varsity Media Streams offer tremendous visibility for your business. Contact us today at 866-577-1950 for rates and packages. Interested in sponsoring a live stream broadcast? Varsity Media Streams offer tremendous visibility for your business. Contact us today at 866-577-1950 for rates and packages.
And welcome back to Don Snyder Stadium. Halftime was lengthy, but certainly very entertaining. Dylan Butler, Mike Spina here. Second half just about underway. We'll quickly recap the scoring, and it was pretty simple. It was the Javian Allen experience. He had his first touchdown, short field. We went 4 plays, 30 yards, a 3-yard touchdown late in the first quarter, made it 7-0 for the Red Devils, and then an 18-yard touchdown run, first play of the second quarter, to give Freeport the 14-0 lead. Interestingly enough, we were both surprised, Mike, that to end the second quarter, that Freeport, considering their dynamic offensive attack with so many different weapons, actually just opted to let the clock wind down.
Yeah, I was a little shocked by that. You know, they are high-powered. My only thing that I can think of is that they just weren't happy with something that was going on. And instead of trying to make a mistake and force the issue, you're getting the ball to start the second half. You're up 14. Sometimes it's good to be a little bit on the conservative side. I'm curious to see what they do on this first drive. Did they come out and make an adjustment at halftime based on something? One of the things that I noticed is that Farmingdale's in a 4-man front. They got 4 hands down. Last week we saw 3 hands down. They were in what we call a 3-2 box. Today they're seeing a 4-2 box. So they're seeing a 6-man box instead of a 5. So, maybe that screwed them up a little bit. I'm not sure, but I'll be curious to see how this first drive goes. If you're Farmingdale, you got to feel pretty good about yourselves. You could have let this game slip away, and they hung in there. They're playing hard. They're playing with emotion. This is pretty much a free game for Farmingdale. They're not going to lose any power points if they lose to Freeport. So they win. Great. They lose, no big deal. They regroup for next week.
Before we start the second half, just wanted to shout out all the support staff here at Farmingdale. What a terrific halftime. The cheerleaders, the dance team, the band. It was just so entertaining.
What a band.
Yeah.
318 kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
They must have taken up all the parking spots. There's Allen on the return. Not much doing. Daler's pushing back.
One thing I want to talk about a little bit before we get into this first play is special teams. Special teams is 1/3 of the game. And I just don't think enough high school coaches put an emphasis on special teams. And I think that you got to really look at that game right there, or the first half. Farmingdale had the ball at their 22-yard line, average starting position. Freeport was starting basically on the average at midfield. That's a big advantage for Freeport.
And we were surprised to see Freeport. They punted the ball 3 times. They punted coming into this game. There's a flag right away.
Yeah, it looks like illegal motion.
I mean, how about if you are Russ Allen, you've just come out of a 30-minute halftime, and the first play from scrimmage, you've got motion.
It's not the way you want to come out and start. So now you're looking at 1st and 15 at their own 25. Again, they're composed. You don't see any yelling, any screaming, any pointing fingers. They're looking at their wristbands, getting ready for the next play, but still not the way you want to start.
But yeah, 3 punts first half, 4 all season coming into this game. There's Edmond passing the ball, looking for Allen. He is undercut. Looked like McCarthy on the coverage, incomplete.
That could have been very, very dangerous. He threw a high ball on that. He went up. He did not hit him square. If he would have hit him square, he might still be down. Here it is here. They're just running a bubble, looking to go man-on blocking. And I'll tell you, he just got him with his it looked like more of his arm than his shoulder, but that could have been really dangerous.
2nd and 15 from the 25-yard line. There you see again. The big fellas up front checking their wristbands, as does Edmond. Takes the handoff, runs right, and gets maybe 2 yards.
Yeah, back to that power sweep, and really, Farmingdale's doing a great job controlling the line of scrimmage. Edmonds came up limping a little bit. He's trying to run it off and shake it off. You can see him at about the 15-yard line by himself. He's a little shaken right now. Farmingdale's crowd's getting into it, I can tell you that right now.
Just underneath us, getting excited. A 3rd and 13. So we mentioned about being able to pass the football, and you always want to be in a situation where you keep the team guessing, and of course they could still run it here, but looks like more likely to be a passing play. Edmond. Instead, there's that jet sweep you mentioned. Allen cuts inside, and he will be pulled down. Eventually
he's getting pulled down, but, you know, Jaden Jackson is actually trying to pull him to the first down. But that's a great 3-and-out for Farmingdale. You come out of that locker room right now and you say, hey, if we can get a 3-and-out and get back down the field and score, you might put a little bit of doubt in Freeport. Nobody's put doubt in Freeport's minds yet this year. Right now, you're on the verge of doing that.
Heck, Mike, few teams have even had a running or not had running time in the second half against Freeport.
Oh, what a great punt. Turn that ball over.
It's at the 30 and only about 2 or 3 more yards
And Javian Allen, I mean, he is a gazelle. The way he just ran down right there, shed a block, and made a one-on-one tackle.
So here we go. Big possession here for the Dalers. They've had some opportunities. They've knocked on the door, but they just haven't been able to move the football all that much other than maybe that first drive.
Well, in the first drive, they were in Wildcat, where Wilson was playing the Wildcat. Had 2 first downs. They started off in the second drive with it, got stopped a couple times, and they've kind of abandoned that already.
Looks like they might be going back to it here. Or is not Lundeen is behind center?
Nah, they're going back. Now they're going with a 2-back set.
You got Wilson to his right. It's
But
like Ramos gets the handoff.
Back to power football, though.
He'll get out to about, Lembo with the carry.
And Shamel Howard with the tackle. The helmet came off, so he's got to come off the field. But he did a real nice job trailing the pulling guard on that and catching. It looked like either Wilson from behind.
Lembo Jr., 6'1", 205, also a linebacker. This time Lundeen goes to the left side. First down and a little bit more as well.
That's a great job right there. Just taking what Freeport gave them. They're pressing the outside, so basically they're going man-to-man on the outside. So the out routes are going to be open, and maybe that's what Farmingdale drew up at halftime. Now Javian Allen's helmet came off, or he comes off limping a little bit. I can't tell, but he's out of the game right now.
That was Ramos to get into Freeport territory to the 48-yard line. Ramos, again, that versatile guy. He could run the football, could catch it as well. They show blitz, inside handoff, nothing doing for Wilson. Pulled down, looks like Norris again.
Oh, how many times have we called his name on defense today? That's got to be at least his 6th or 7th tackle today. Whether it's a solo or an assist or a pressure, we've been calling his name all day.
Another guy we've been mentioning, too, gets a piece on that tackle, Dan Murphy.
Freeport showing blitz here, going in and out, little yo-yo defense, or Yahoo defense, however some people like to call it.
Yeah, it was Jinx you see over the middle. And he nearly intercepted the ball. That was similar to what we were saying earlier in that Oceanside game. Just right over the middle. And that time, in Oceanside, he makes the catch. This one, he probably should have.
He should have made the catch. But again, when you drop back to pass, you got to know where Miles Norris is. Miles Norris comes straight up the middle and absolutely tattoos Lundeen.
Third down and long. Lundeen, they're coming at him. Goes over the middle. It is incomplete. And again, great coverage. It was intended for McCarthy. And Christian Quinn, another pass breakup.
That's at least 4 or 5 today. I mean, Christian Quinn is listed at 6 foot 155. He's going up against McCarthy, who's 6'5", 210. He's giving up 5 inches, and that's what the roster says. You would never know that.
Yeah, and Quinn, again, we mentioned before, a junior. We'll get back to that after this punt. Fielded at about the 16-yard line by Edmond. A huge block by Allen, and that's actually going to come back.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 flags on a play. There's going to be a block in the back at around the 38-yard line, and that flag that you see at the point of contact will be a hit on a defenseless player. All right, they changed that rule a couple years ago. You have to really – you can't do that peel-back block the way it used to be done. Everybody used to set up walls, and when you set up a wall, you actually look for the peel-back. And they've taken that part out of the game, which is a good thing for safety reasons. You know, because, you know, you're coming down to, you know, cover a punt, and all of a sudden you turn around and boom. Next thing you know, you're on your back. So the rules committee did a great job eliminating that. Has it changed the special teams a little bit? Absolutely. You know, is it good for the safety part of the football? Absolutely. So you got to kind of just shield the guy. That was not a shield. That was an absolute peel back, hitting a defenseless player.
So the hold was declined. The block in the back was accepted. But back to Quinn, transfer from Weymouth, Massachusetts, kind of arrived in the summer, selling set out of nowhere. Great speed. He could run. He said he saw his film last year, and it's taken him a little bit of time because it's a new system, new team, new everything for Christian Quinn. So they didn't want to overload him a lot. But at cornerback is where we could see him get involved in the offense. But at corner is where he's been really, really good.
Well, you would never know that he just moved here. He looks like he's right at home with these guys.
1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Faked handoff. Edmond takes it himself. Gets to the outside. Edmond still going, and great job defensively. Smeichel chased him down.
What a great tackle. That was the Amtrak, right? They fake jet sweep. They read the linebacker. If the linebacker goes with the jet sweep, he's going to keep it. They pull the guard on that, and he cut it back towards the Farmingdale sideline, and Smeichel's got some speed. He ran that down. That looked like that might go. So instead of running that for a touchdown, you were looking at about a 7-yard gain. I'm still waiting for Freeport to up-tempo this a little bit more. They had a real good drive when they were going like NASCAR speed. I haven't seen that since that.
2nd down. Edmond again fakes it, and he is hit hard. I'll tell you, the Dalers are bringing the physicality. Edmond doesn't like it.
Wow, that's McCarthy coming from the safety. That's how a safety plays football. He's not even on the screen right now. And here he comes up. Oh, that's a great tackle. Good form. I'll tell you, if you think Farmingdale is going to lie down, you don't know Nassau County football.
Yeah.
These are tough, hard-nosed kids.
3rd down. Edmond fumbles the snap, recovers it, but Freeport's going to have to punt this away. And this is so similar, Mike. Again, I talk about the Social Side game because we were there. It was an incredible game. But in that game, Farmingdale were getting opportunities. They were getting chances. They weren't capitalizing just yet, but the chances were there. And when they went to the second half and they got a little bit better, they got coached up at halftime, that's when they started capitalizing on those chances. So similar here, it seems like.
Yeah, I wasn't at that game, but it sounds very similar. Listen, they play hard. They don't give up, and you're starting to see some mistakes that Freeport's making. Remember I talked about doubt, putting a little bit of doubt? They're in Freeport's faces right now. They're sitting there, and the crowd's into it right now. The cheerleaders are going crazy right now. Their mascot's got this crowd all jacked up right now. So what they need to do is capitalize. They got great field position right now. It looks like they're going to start at the 48-yard line going in. All right, they got the wind at their back, so they really do have to capitalize right now. The problem is right now is Freeport's defense. They are a dominant group. All right, and this didn't start this year. This started last year. You talk about Freeport, you talk about high-powered offense. Their defense is what's more impressive to me than their offense.
1st and 10 at the positive 49-yard line for the Dalers. Jinx shows blitz. And it looks like the pass was incomplete.
Yeah, they went back to that out route. All right, it's a 30 route where the L, which is the wide receiver, runs a go, and the slot guy just runs a quick 5, 6, 7-yard out. That's got to be complete. If you want to take this to the next level, you want to win this game, you got to complete that pass. They're giving you the outs. You're not going against Quinn right now.
2nd and 10. High snap, faked handoff. Wilson instead is a blocker. Pass goes over the middle looking for McCarthy. Incomplete, and now it's 3rd and 10.
Same thing. Well, that time they ran a slant route on that. Again, Lundeen got absolutely hammered once again. He actually got up looking at the official on that one, thinking that maybe there would be a flag for a late hit. He's got somebody in his face every single time. He's got a clock in his head right now. And right now that clock's going a little bit faster than he would want it to go. His receivers are not getting a chance to actually get into their patterns because of the defensive line for Freeport.
Chaccio just subbed in. He's a guy who's got big plays in him. Let's see if maybe they target him on this play. Lundeen back to pass, goes to the sideline. McCarthy, nice cut inside.
He's gone.
There goes
There's that
McCarthy.
bubble. He's gone. Oh, he's in.
Touchdown, Farmingdale.
There's the break. Right there. Great job on that tunnel screen. It's a slip screen where the tackle gets out.
And Mike, we'll look at the replay again. Watch Chaccio with the block.
Look at everybody downfield. Look
There
at
it
the wall.
is.
Look at the wall of linemen downfield right now. And they sealed the outside. There was nobody in the middle of the field. Actually, it looked like he was actually tackled at about the half-yard line. But, hey, you know something? Great play. Great throw by Lundeen. Great catch. This is a ball game.
Yeah, we've been saying the opportunities were there, and a muffed extra point not going anywhere, and
I
some chatter.
I hate saying it. Special teams.
Yeah.
Like, one thing that I will tell you that Coach Shippos does at Massapequa, he works special teams all the time.
We got a ball game here at Don Snyder Stadium. 6:05 to go, third quarter. Freeport 14, Farmingdale 6. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And welcome back to Don Snyder Stadium. 6:05 to go here, third quarter. Farmingdale goes 49 yards in technically 3 plays, but they got it all in one big play. A Lundeen to McCarthy touchdown on 3rd and 10. They missed the extra point, score 14-6 in favor of the Red Devils.
Well, like I said before, special teams is one of those things that can make or break you. You know, here you get a great touchdown, you get the momentum, you get everybody all cranked up right now, your team is flying high, and then, like Coach Shippos always says at Massapequa, don't take a play off. Don't take a play off. You never know. That could be the play that turns this game around. Well, snap on the ground, missed extra point. Now it's technically a one-score game. But in my eyes, it's still 2. It's a touchdown and a 2-point possession.
McCarthy, his 3rd receiving touchdown of the year. Also a really good pitcher for the Farmingdale baseball team. Here's the kickoff. It's a short one. I like the idea there, and almost got it between players. The ball's returned by Quinn out to the 38-yard line. That kick almost dropped into like no man's land and could have been really dangerous for the Red Devils.
That was close to being a phenomenal kick. He made a great catch on that, because if he doesn't catch it, that's bouncing all over the place. And again, we're talking about Christian Quinn. You know, we've talked about him on defense. Now we're talking about him on special teams. He doesn't make that play because right now, if you look, they had one guy deep, and that's going to roll.
So here we go. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. The Dalers have brought the physicality to a very physical football team in Freeport.
Yeah, they're stacking the box, and they're trying to make him throw the ball. Right now, Freeport is showing that they haven't thrown the ball well.
Edmond runs to his right, hesitates, cuts inside, Petzold in with the tackle.
That's a great power sweep right there. I'll tell you, he made a great jump cut. That really should have been no gain. All right, because Dakota Mathis came flying in from the cornerback, dove at his feet. Now look, they're going NASCAR. Here we go.
2nd and 5 from the 43. Trips right. Edmonds goes left. goes up the sideline, and he'll get forced out of bounds, but enough for the first down.
All right, you see Freeport right now has picked up the tempo. They've seen something that's working. They're going to the right side or the short side for the last 2 plays. 2 ball sweeps right in a row. Edmonds all of a sudden right now said, put the ball on my shoulders. Let's go.
Out to the 49-yard line. Edmond, hands off, blasting up the middle. Look to be Allen. He'll get out to the 46.
Just a simple, straight gut play. Nobody pulling, just going right at him. And again, they've picked up the tempo right now. There's no looking at wristbands. There's no 20 seconds in between plays. They've picked it up. They know they're in a game right now.
They're also getting 5 yards at a clip. 2nd and 5. Again, Allen up the middle. And he is hit at about the 35-yard line. Another first down, another big run by Allen.
That's just an H-back counter right there, where the H-back, or what we call a sniffer, he pulls. Okay, they trap either the tackle or the end on that, and it goes right up the middle.
So the only break here is just kind of to move the chains. 12 yards on that run for Allen. And Freeport's in a bit of a groove right now. Again, they go to Allen. Spins, turns, and he's running a room. Wilson in on the tackle, as is Chachio.
Yeah, Chachio, you've heard Chachio's name called a lot. He's doing a great job from the safety spot. But right now, you said it. You see Farmingdale starting to sub in right now. Maybe going to change their front a little bit. Maybe you're starting to see some guys get a little tired. I'm telling you, I know it sounds weird, but that missed extra point might have taken a little bit of air out of Farmingdale.
Edmond. Again, that's another one of those hesitations, looking for the hole. He had Allen in front of him as a blocker, and a late flag. As again, some extracurriculars on the sideline that neither side wants to see, to be honest. It's been a physical game, relatively clean.
No chippiness. Here it is, just a straight ball sweep.
Yeah, you see Allen.
Allen leading. You see the. It's a good clean tackle. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, it looked like Edmond involved late.
Well, you see the.
What we didn't quite see was whether it was a retaliation from Edmond, or certainly the hit didn't come out of bounds, and we'll get the call now from.
It looks like Farmingdale's backing up, so it is going to be on Farmingdale. Personal foul against Farmingdale.
Yeah, so a dead ball foul. It coming off of a big gain as well, so it gets you down inside. Is he inside? Just
He's
inside
at
the 10 at the 11. So first and 10 from the 11.
And this is how you answer a touchdown drive against you. Right now, boom. We're at, what, 5 or 6 plays? They've already marched down 50 yards, and they're rolling.
Actually, this is the 7th play of the drive, and it goes the opposite side. Edmond looks to take it himself. He will get in.
There it is again. This is just a simple ball sweep. But again, here's the problem. Okay, Farmingdale all of a sudden can't come off blocks.
Here you see Edmond looking. Gets the outside, a nice cut. There's a nice block up the field.
And that's Stevenson, right?
Yep.
Stevenson with a great block. Their wideouts are so committed to blocking. They're not catching the ball that much because they don't throw the ball that much. So if you want to get on the field for Freeport, you better learn to block. And that's what makes them such a great team.
Extra point is up by Gordon, and it is good. He's about as automatic as they come for Freeport. And as you mentioned, the Red Devils with the response. They take a 21-6 lead, 3:49 to go here, third quarter. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Welcome back to Don Snyder Stadium. You can see at the bottom of the screen, this is the Varsity Media Game of the Week. We've got another big game next week. Not too far from here, actually. At a beautiful new complex. There you see it, Plain Edge Red Devils, the defending Nassau champion. They're looking to try to win a Long Island championship, taking on the Cyclones of Southside. That game Friday night, a week from tonight, 6:30 kickoff.
That's 2 undefeated teams going at it next week. You know, Coach Shaver's looking to get back to an LIC. Coach Ernesto looking to win a county championship. That should be a real interesting game. That game has got a ton of athletes.
Oh, my goodness, you're right. I mean, Dion Quinlan, for one, certainly Valari.
And I love Lombardi.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
I love him. I think he's
even better defensively.
He is.
At the 10 is Ciaccio. Turns, cuts inside, and gets out to about the 23-yard line. And as you mentioned, at least off air, that's how you respond to giving up a touchdown. Freeport goes 7 plays, 62 yards, 11-yard touchdown run by Terrence Edmond.
Sure, that's what great teams do. You know, they didn't put their heads down. They picked up the pace on offense, which I was waiting to see a lot earlier, was that NASCAR speed. And all of a sudden, they just went right down, answered, kicked the extra point, get a great kickoff, great coverage, and now Farmingdale's back in the hole, down 2 scores and starting from their 22.
Man in motion, and there's Wilson again. Looks like that was the Wildcat.
Yes, it was.
We saw that on that, as you mentioned, Mike, that first drive that was so successful.
And they went right back to it. And they must see something because they keep running it to the left side. And if you look at the H-back, the sniffer, he's just kicking out the defensive end. Well, he's actually kicking out Cruz, which is the linebacker who's stacked on the line of scrimmage. So all they're doing is running a power play on that. It's power football. So they had success the first drive. They're coming back to it. Same formation. All right, it's a slot to the short side of the field. Fake jet sweep.
And there goes Wilson again, looking for a room. Gets about another 2 yards or so.
So you got 3rd and about 2. And again, they've only run it left. So I don't know if they see something from the scouting report, if they just feel like they can run it. You know, defensively, I mean, at some point Freeport's just going to start keying the sniffer and keying the H-back and saying, hey, they're running power here. Let's start making it bounce. You know, take Wilson out of the game. Force it outside because they have the speed that can run it down.
3rd down and 1 yard.
It's either going to be the same play or some kind of a counter back this way.
Well, it's looking the same way now. Wilson takes it, puts his head down, tries to push forward, and looks like he did get the first down.
All right, so Farmingdale's going back now to the way the game started. You know, they're going to ride Wilson's legs a little bit.
And, Mike, it's interesting, too, because it's a strategy that worked, as we said, in that first drive, but also Lundeen, as he's back in now, he was taking a beating at quarterback. So it's almost also a chance just to give him a little bit of a break.
It is. It also slows the clock down a little bit. I think they tried to slow the clock down just to keep Freeport's offense. There's that out route again, that 30 route. Again, they're giving you the out. The safety's 12 yards off the ball, and he's covering the out. So if Farmingdale can show a little patience right now and just take what Freeport gives them, they can march down the field.
Lorenzo Ramos with the reception. Came into this game, again, another dual threat, 100 yards rushing, 164 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns, receiving 1, rushing the football.
Yep. You see the cornerbacks bail coming with an all-out blitz right now.
Oh, and he's eating up.
He's eating up. Cruz once again. And Murphy. And you saw the cornerbacks come up in press coverage, and then right before the snap, they bailed. All right, you see them press covering here, and then watch the snap. They bail, and then they bring out the outside and 1 inside linebacker. So, you know, they're now playing cat and mouse right now, offense, defense. Good job by Freeport's defense to disguise what the coverage was on that.
Final minute here of the third quarter, 2nd and 15. Lundeen clapping his hands. Looks like they might just...
Changing the play.
Yep. He's got to get it off quick. Lundeen fakes the handoff. He's eaten up. Looks like Stevenson
and
from
Jinx.
the outside.
Stevenson with the initial contact. Jinx cleaning it up. All right, now you're not in a good situation. You're going to be looking at 3rd down and 17, and that will be the end of the 3rd quarter. So you're going to come out in the 4th quarter with 3rd and 17, down 21-6. Not an ideal situation for Farmingdale.
We'll have that 4th quarter for you when we return. Freeport leads Farmingdale 21-6. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Welcome back to Don Snyder Stadium on the campus of Farmingdale High School. Dylan Butler, Mike Spina. 4th quarter, 12 minutes to go here, and the 3rd quarter kind of started with momentum for the boys there in green. Freeport took it right back, as kind of championship teams do, right? And they just answered, or they responded to that punch by Freeport, by Farmingdale. They punched right back. They have a 21-6 lead. Farmingdale facing a 3rd and 17 from the 40-yard line.
Yeah, you know, they took a punch to the face, Freeport. And what do the champions do? They come right back. And to be honest with you, this might be a blessing in disguise for Freeport. They have not been challenged yet.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the first time you're getting challenged. Playoff time, county championship, LIC, whatever you want to say.
Sure.
You know, so this is not a bad thing for them getting down. Maybe that's why Coach Krumanacher didn't go for it with a minute to go at the 50-yard line going into halftime. Maybe he's challenging his team. He's that confident.
So let's see if there's a play. Cruz shows blitz. Actually, it's Stevenson. And Cruz in as well on the sack.
Well, once again, they came with a two-man stun here. They showed a 3-man box. All right, three hands down. Once again, corners were up, and watch him bail. And then Jinx comes from the outside. Look, he comes from where he's guarding the slot. So the running back, Wilson, had no idea who to block. Does he block the inside linebacker? Does he block the outside linebacker? That's a great stunt.
And again, the Dale forced to punt. This one fielded on the bounce by Edmond. Turns back, cuts back again, gets to the outside, has some room.
He's gone.
Cuts inside again.
He's gone.
There's
again.
Edmond. He's got a blocker upfield. Edmond in. Touchdown.
What a great athletic move. He drops the ball, which sometimes what happens is the defense or the punt return team, they kind of stop. I mean, the punt team stops. And then all of a sudden, they got a wall on the sideline. Great block over there at the 40-yard line. Now, you see what Javion Allen did?
Get out of the way.
He got out of the way. He could have easily made that peel back block that we were talking about, and he didn't. He just ran in front and shielded.
And even Jinx there with a late block as well, just to make sure that his man gets in the end zone.
That's why they're dangerous. When you want a big play, who do you put back on punt return?
Unbelievable.
You
Terrence Edmond.
You put your star back there. You know, Javion Allen was back there before, right? He dropped one, almost broke one. They wanted a big play. And look who holds. Edmond.
Yeah.
Is there anything he doesn't do?
I'm not sure. I don't know if he drove the bus
I was going to
here.
say, does he drive the bus?
28-6, Freeport, and all that momentum it seemed like Farmingdale had. The crowd was into it. The mascot you mentioned was even into it, and it all goes out the window with Terrence Edmond, again, leading the way. We can't stress enough, a 4-year starter overall, 3-year at quarterback. Check this one out. At QB, in his 3 years, he is 23-3. And actually, you know what? You got to add to that because that was going into that Oceanside game.
Right.
So now you've got, 2 more wins to that, 25-3, looking at 26-3 today. As Russ Sellon says, too, it's not a secret, really, right? He's a phenomenal athlete. They give him the ball as much as they can, but he leads, and that's what he did there, too. Fumble the football. How many guys would you see there fumble the ball and just jump on it? He had that poise and that presence, and he also knew that there'd be blockers up the field, and that's what he did. He went to the sideline, a few cutbacks, and got to the house.
Yeah, he leads by example. You said it, 25-3. Listen, I'm going to say it. This is a great football team.
Yeah.
He's not doing this by himself. Does he make plays? Absolutely. Is he one of the best athletes right now in Nassau County Conference 1? Pretty much.
I asked Russ Sellon. It's a tough question to ask him because, again, 3 decades as a coach and so many incredible athletes coming through his program. I kind of asked him, in that Mount Rushmore of Freeport, where is Edmond? He said, look, it's hard to compare and contrast different teams, but there's no doubt he's right up there in the pool of the best players that they've ever had. We'll take a quick break here on the timeout. Freeport in control. They lead Farmingdale 28-6. You're watching Nassau Conference 1 football on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And we are back at Don Snyder Stadium under the lights here in Freeport on a Friday night, the Varsity Media Game of the Week. We thank you for watching. Freeport, an impressive response. And, Mike, you alluded to it. Really, the challenges haven't been there. 47-12 win at Port Washington. Get to more of that after this return. It is Wilson from his own 5, cuts up field, and an impressive return out past the 35-yard line. Week 2, you know it well, a 49-13 win over Massapequa. Week 3, 35-8 at Syosset. That really impressive 42-0 win over Oceanside where there was running clock in the second half. In Week 5, a 54-13 win over Baldwin.
Right, they haven't been challenged. And they got their first challenge tonight. When it got to 14-6, it's a challenge. Missing that extra point, I'm telling you, I hate saying it. I just felt like you just were on such a high, and I just felt like somebody popped the balloon. It was like such a downer because here you're right now up 1 score. You're down 1 score, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, you missed an extra point. And then they come right back down and score. Then you get 3 and out, you punt, and they score again.
Back in the Wildcat formation. This time the handoff does go to Ramos, and looks like he gets a couple of yards.
Yeah, they tried to run a jet sweep. You got to go straight at him. You're not outrunning them. You're not beating them to the outside. Again, you got to take what they give.
Last meeting between these two teams actually was in Week 1 of the 2018 season. It was a 42-12 win for Freeport. Guy by the name of Terrence Edmond. You might have heard of him. 4 of 5 for 104 yards and 1 touchdown. Throwing the football. Handoff to Wilson. Look at this speed and the strength of Kevin Wilson. Hard to take down. He will get the first down out to to the 48. Edmond in that game as well. 15 carries, 117 yards, 2 more scores. Defensively had an interception as well. So Freeport in that game scored in their first 4 possessions. Took a 28-0 lead. The Dale didn't score on their first points until the third quarter.
Right. That's why when you look at a final score, it can be very deceiving. And regardless of what the final score of this game is, this has been a football game. Farmingdale's played very well. They've played hard. Have they capitalized on every turnover and every mistake that Freeport's made? No. If they did, you wouldn't be looking at a 28-6 deficit. You might be looking at a 21-14 game.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, you could look at a score of a game and say, oh, 42-13, that's a blowout. It could have been worse. You look at this right now, and I don't know what the final score is going to be, but this has been a ball game. Farmingdale came to play tonight.
Daler's last win over Freeport, you have to go back to week 4 of the 2016 season. 31-20 was the score of that game.
Freeport's still coming with pressure.
Lundeen bounces around. Norris eats him up.
And Norris gets the sack, but Cruz makes the play. Lundeen tried to get outside. The pocket was starting to collapse. He wanted to get outside, and watch how he boxes him in. Cruz is at the top of the screen. He's coming on an outside blitz. He gets blocked. You see Lundeen look to get outside, and he can't. And then Norris just cleans it up. Now, what do you do here? 2nd down and almost 25? You know, what's in your playbook?
It's a handoff for Wilson, and he finds some room up the middle. Wilson gets into the secondary, turns on the 40th. Fantastic tackle by Allen.
There's your play.
And that's why Kevin Wilson is a Thorpe candidate.
Yes, he is. You know, that's just a great inside play right here. You see it looks like a draw maybe or a power. H-back power. There it is. Boom. They pull the guard. It's just a regular blast play. The middle of the field's wide open. Freeport got caught in a stunt. You know, Freeport's not sitting back right now. They're still coming hard. They just came hard outside and got caught.
Funny thing, we talked to Robbie Blount before their game against Farmingdale. He said Wilson's a runner who maybe is in the wrong era.
Old school.
Yeah.
I mean, I played high school football in 1983. I would have loved to have him as my tailback. And we were an option team.
Stony Brook, post, has interest in Wilson, the 6'2 senior. Came into this game, 65 carries, 445 yards, 10 touchdowns, as well as 9 receptions, 159 yards, and 2 more scores.
And like I said, after last week's game, he was one of the classier kids on the field. Again, drop back, here they come.
Lundeen doesn't even have the option to step forward.
There's nowhere to go.
Yeah. Howard that time with the sack. Shamel Howard came into this game with 1 sack. He started his season a bit slow, had an injury early on, but as you can see, coming on like a force from that inside spot.
He's the runt of the defense. He's only 6'1", 235. You know, he's the small guy. Here's that tunnel screen again. Played it much better this time.
Yes.
Defensively, they played it real well.
Smichael nowhere to go.
That's one of those sayings, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, Freeport wasn't getting fooled.
How about Norris, too? Looked like he was...
Norris came down.
Yeah.
He read screen. Look. He read screen right from his tackle position, and he's right there on the tackle again.
Jinx, the primary tackler, and the Dale will be forced to punt here. Levantini will do so. Talk about a versatile athlete for the Dalers. Levantini gets it down to about the 10. Look out. Here's Edmond. Cuts again. There's a big, that's going to be another defenseless block, it looks like.
They didn't call it
Yep.
because he was actually looking right where he blocked, but he got shaken up. And that looks like it's, who was that, 55? Is that Nick Romano? Yeah, he took a shot on that. You know, Edmonds caught the ball, went right, stopped, went left. and he took a shot. I don't know if it's to the head or to the shoulder, but he definitely took a pop on that. You know, Farmingdale punting right now with 6-11, down 28-6 is basically saying, listen, you know, now we're just going to play the strings out. You know, we're not going to get anybody hurt. There's a flag on the field. Okay, good to see that. Armano's jogging off under his own power. It looks like he just got his bell rung a little bit. He seems to be fine. He's talking to his teammates on the sideline right now, so good to see that.
Levantini coming into this game, 12 punts for an average of 39.5. He's put 2 inside the 20. So we certainly hope in this final 6-11 that some cooler heads prevail. You don't want to do anything to jeopardize yourself going forward, certainly.
Except for the one play on the sideline, it's been a clean game. You know, you've really seen no chippiness. You don't see anybody in anybody's faces. You've seen 2 good, solid football teams. Well, one great football team and a real good, solid football team going at it. And again, they were in this game. This score, 28-6, is a lot closer than the score.
So I'll pick your brain, and maybe it's an unfair question to ask of you as we move forward, but certainly clearly Freeport, they'll improve to 6-0. They are very much the class of Nassau 1, if not, as you mentioned, the number 1 team certainly in the state. But kind of that 2 through 4 spot in Nassau 1 is very, very interesting right now.
It's wide open right now, too. That's the funny part. I mean,
and you don't want to be in that 4 spot. Not only as a fumble on the handoff, and that's what you get off the fumble handoff, a first down and more.
He still is not down.
Fumble, it looks like, on the play. Or was he down?
Number 5, Jinx on that carry.
Jinx had the carry.
Yeah, the ball went on the ground. It looks like people just stopped and relaxed. Here we go. Fumble to snap. He runs hard. Look at him. Lower his shoulder. Not down. Still not down. Still lowering his shoulder. Still not down.
Yeah.
You know. And how many carries does Jinx have this year? Not many. Would he be
Jinx coming into this game, 18 carries, 278 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaging 15 yards a carry.
Now, would he be a stud running back on almost every team on Long Island? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's probably the 3rd or 4th option. But he's getting the bulk of the work now, and he's just pounding people right now. Wilson on a great tackle, but he's now just a different type of back. Where Allen, Edmonds, they use their speed, their patience, they find a hole. Jinx ain't using any patience. He's just lowering his shoulder and just Jerome Bettis style running people over.
So we mentioned again, he played 2 years at offensive tackle, was a running back his whole life, but they needed him to play tackle, so he did the last 2 years. Now he's back in the backfield. It's not a unique situation for Russ Sellen. He said that he did the same thing with Chris Edmond, Terrence Edmonds' older brother, who, when he went back to play in the backfield his senior year, ended up winning the Thorpe Award.
Sure. It's a commitment to the program. When you have guys that are committed to the program and they're not all about themselves, they're about the team and the program, that's why you win.
And Jinx, you could see on that run as well, Mike, he wants the physicality. He wants the contact. Guys sometimes burn it to the outside, and he has the speed, but he loves the contact.
Oh, no, look at him right here. Watch this.
He
Boom.
is just he's
looking for contact.
Yeah, he's looking for guys in green.
He's looking for it. See, this is his time. You know, Edmond had his time. Allen had his time. This is Jinx time. You know, that's what he wants. He wants to just run people over right now.
And that's the thing, too, when he's not carrying the ball like he does there again, and you can see why he's getting 15 yards a carry, but he also, when he's in the backfield, he blocks like a tackle because he just played there for a couple years.
He was a tackle.
Yeah.
He's just a tackle with wheels.
Yeah.
Now, and even on that last carry, and it goes unnoticed, but Javion Allen, about 20 yards, 15 yards downfield, 20 yards downfield, is absolutely still going whistle to whistle, blocking people. He's putting people on his back.
Yeah.
This game is over. It's over. But yet, they're still playing whistle to whistle. They're still playing hard. They're still fighting to the end, as is Farmingdale.
And this time, Osani Allen gets the football, runs around the outside, cuts inside. He's broken a couple of tackles. He's finally taken down at about the 17-yard line.
Yeah. Mineta again with a touchdown-saving tackle.
And Minetta's a good ball player. We saw he made a fantastic play to win that game with an interception in the end zone in that wild Oceanside game.
Look at that cutback. That's a great cutback. That's one shoestring tackle away from being another touchdown. Now, Freeport right now, they know Farmingdale's done. All right? They're still going after it. They're not in NASCAR speed right now, but they're playing hard.
And again, it's Jinx. Cuts inside. This time he's eaten up for a few. But Selin says, look, he's not a burner, but he can move. That's for sure.
No, he can move, and like I said, he loves contact. You know, you started asking about the 2, 3, and 4 seed.
Yeah.
You know, Farmingdale beats Oceanside. We beat Farmingdale. We still have to play tomorrow, Westbury,
By the way, folks, the we is Massapequa.
Uniondale, and Oceanside.
Yeah. That Week 8 game, I think, might loom large.
It could. We still got to get there. You know, we don't look past anybody. We want to make sure that we take care of business tomorrow. That's our most important thing right now, is making sure that we come ready to play against Westbury. It's our homecoming. That's our number one priority. We're not thinking Uniondale. We're not thinking Oceanside. Could it come down to that? Sure, it could. But you know, it's high school football.
Yeah, but I could think that. I'm not coaching the sideline. We
can.
could talk it.
You could talk it. I'm worried about Westbury. I've been doing this for 34 years. I don't look past anybody, and I know our coaching staff doesn't. Coach Shipos does a great job as a head coach. He was reminded the kids, hey, don't look at records, don't look at anything else. Just play your game tomorrow, and that's all that matters.
Javian Allen looked like that time. Cuts inside, and we're approaching 1 minute left in this game. Freeport, as you mentioned, they'll improve to 6-0. They've got Hempstead and Uniondale to end the regular season. Farmingdale will have back-to-back losses. They end the year at Baldwin and at Hicksville.
Now, as a coach, when I look at seeds and I look at the teams that they're going to play, it's very easy for me to sit there and say what could happen. All right, they've played the tougher part of their schedule, and you know, their last 2 games are not as tough as Massapequa, Freeport, Oceanside. So they're not in bad shape right now. You know, they just want to get out of here healthy right now. I would say this will be the last snap of the game. It's 4th down. 1st down, they would probably take a knee or not even run a play. It almost looks like they're just letting it go.
Jinx will find his way in to the end zone.
Again, they score with 21 seconds to go. That's going to push the score to 34-35-6. We watched and called this game. There's no way that you look at the score and say that this was a blowout. Going into this quarter, this was a close game.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely was. It was a 2-score game at halftime, and then we saw the response there from Farmingdale as well off their touchdown. I think that was a turning point, or the biggest point of the game. Right after Farmingdale scores, you mentioned they missed extra point, and then Terrence Edmond does what Terrence Edmond does best, gets the response coming right back down, and then from that point, Freeport just in control of this game.
Yes, it was 7 plays, 3.5 minutes off the clock, 60-something yards, and that pushed the lead back up to 2 scores, and then the punt return, which was the killer.
So 35-6 the score, 21 seconds left. So you mentioned what Massapequa has and what Freeport and Farmingdale have ahead, and Oceanside as well. Look, they've played Freeport already. They've played Farmingdale already, lost to both those teams. Again, I know what you're going to say. You don't count out any opponent. Their toughest game left on the schedule would seem to be in Week 8 against the Chiefs.
On paper. On paper. It's, again, nobody looks past anybody. Coach Blount does a great job there. He's not looking past his homecoming game this week against Plainview.
Well, that will do it here at Don Snyder Stadium. Freeport improves to 6-0. Again, with 2 more games left, their winning streak increases to 18 games. Also now 23 of their last 24. You see the coaching staff as well as the players, a good sign of respect between these two programs. Farmingdale, their second consecutive defeat. They fall to 4-2 on the year. Any final thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, you just, like I said, these are 2 real good football teams. I mean, listen, I would be lying if I didn't say that Freeport right now is the class of the state. I mean, we know that they're number 1 in the state for a reason. They're the number 1 team on Long Island. They deserve everything they got. They're well coached. They're well disciplined. They're a great football team. They're the best until somebody can knock them off. But I give Farmingdale a lot of credit. After a tough loss against us last week, you know, it was an emotional game. They came out and played a great football game today. Again, you look at the score 35-6, it wasn't a 35-6 game. They played a good football game today. A few breaks here and there, a few inches on that one pooch kick that we saw could have changed the momentum a little bit more and changed maybe the outcome. I'm not saying they would have won the game, but it might not have been 35-6.
This was a fun one. We have a big one coming up next week as well. Plain Edge, Southside, from that beautiful new facility out in North Massapequa at Plain Edge. Really looking forward to that game. You say, Mike, we go game to game, week to week. Now we can start talking about Plain Edge and Southside. That's going to be a great one, certainly next Friday night.
I'm excited.
Yeah, let's go. So, again, the final score here at Don Snyder Stadium, 35-6 in favor of the Red Devils. For Mike Spina, I am Dylan Butler. Thanking you again for watching, and we will see you next week right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.